Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. Today I've got a cast to catch video for you. I was out just a few days ago and I got my big fish of the year so far. It was an 8-7 post-spawn female, and I think if I would have caught this fish maybe a week earlier, the fish was probably mid-9s, maybe pushing 10. But like I say, I've got the cast to catch action for you, and I want to just walk you through what happened on that particular day and give you guys some suggestions on what you might do during these, post-spawn months of summer when there's a lot of fish in the area. Everybody's talking about catching a ton of fish, but they're catching a lot of dinks. This is just one of those days where I was lucky and came onto a big one, but I'll try to give you guys some tips on what you can look for and maybe tilt the odds in your favor of catching a big fish. First thing you could do is leave your net at home. I had no net on the boat when I caught that fish, and after I got out here, I figured I was going to get a big fish because I didn't have my net. I was also using a light spinning rod. The rod that I was using was a Megabass Levante 7'3", medium action. Pretty light rod for catching, fish over 5-6 pounds, let alone an 8.5 or 9 pound fish. I've got a 2500 Marivelle spinning, Shimano spinning reel, and I have some kind of faded colored braid. You guys know I talk about fishing colored braid. It's a little faded now, but it's still giving me that, detection of where my bait is. So I've got a 30-pound braid. I've got about 4 feet of 15-pound Maxima leader, and my setup was as simple as it gets. It was a wacky rigged 6-inch green pumpkin Cinco. The way that I rig these is I use the, let's see, I had my pliers here a minute ago. I just use the VMC pliers with the VMC crossover rings on them. That's how I rig it up. I've actually have a VMC hook. It's a little smaller than I would suggest, but that's what I had on here that day, and I was kind of almost in the process of getting off the water and trying something new or just going home. I'll tell you right now, I'm at the very spot that I caught that fish. It was about 3 or 4 days ago prior to the filming, but I caught that fish right about 10 feet in front of me on that Thule berm that is just offshore about 15 feet. So here's the cast to catch video. Don't do it! Don't do it! Yeah! That's it. That's it, baby. Woo! 8-7. Nice. Just finished spawning out here. Oh. All right, you guys saw what happened out there on the edge there. I caught the fish right at the base of those Thules, and you never know where you're going to get those fish. You just have to fish with confidence, and you have to put all the pieces of the puzzle together as much as you can through the course of the day. You have to be fishing in the shade. You have to be making proper cast. You have to be thinking all the time and maybe changing your techniques depending on what the water is in front of you. Now, before we cut out, and I expected that I was going to do some fishing and explain what was going on where I was fishing. And I'm getting bit like crazy out here. I got my son Nathan in the back of the boat. He wants to fish, so we're gonna cut this video short. I will have the camera on. If we get some fish, we'll definitely put these on the video. But what I wanted to talk about is these areas that are in front of me, the areas that seem to be dead areas, on whether they're on rock banks or on tule islands. You have the prime spots where you have those tule clumps where the fish are at the base of those tules, like where I caught that one. But what I will do when I'm going from tule clump to tule clump, especially when there's maybe 100 yards of seemingly barren water, it's not always barren, because a lot of these fish, they may not move from one area to another area, but they will move up and down the banks. They will move 50 yards from one tule clump to another, or maybe around from a point on an island, or so on and so forth. One of the prime highways that they use is the offshore ledge. And like what we have in front of us, you guys have seen this a million times. We've got 2 feet of water, 1 foot of water up, on the bank, enough for fish to hold in there. And there will be fish if there is surface vegetation. There's enough water for those fish to get under them. Obviously, those are places that you want to punch, and those are places that you want to throw wacky rig worms right to the edge of the hyacinth or whatever type of surface vegetation you have. But I really like to fish these ledges, and they're usually about 20 or 30 feet offshore, and you can find them really easy because generally they're visible. You can find them with your electronics, but generally if you just zigzag your boat, you'll be able to see 2 feet of water, 2 feet of water, 3 feet of water, and then it drops down. And that's usually not only a solid ledge, but it's a ledge where the vegetation stops. So you have a wall of vegetation and you have a ledge. That is a prime area for these fish to move, a road map for them to move up and down from one area to the island to the other. And I just want to say, the way that I fish those is I don't fish them with a wacky rig. I put a Texas rig on. I'll make as long a cast as I can. I'll use that Texas rig, unweighted, 6-inch Cinco. I'll let it get down 6 or 8 feet deep. You can't fish them much more than that unless you have, flat, calm water. Maybe it's 3 or 4 feet deep. Whatever that ledge is, I'll fish it as close to the ledge as I can. Bring that bait back as slowly and methodically as I can, and just wait for a fish to come up and pick it up. That is one of the best ways that I know to catch bigger fish during the post-spawn time, because these big females that were laying eggs up on the flats in the harder bottom, as soon as they lay the eggs, they come out and they go to deeper water, what they would call a sanctuary, where they feel comfortable. And it is going to be generally the nearest deep water or the nearest structure that they can find that's as close to the bed that they just have been laying on. So the males will be all over the beds and they'll be in the shallow water. The females will be somewhere out in the deeper water. So just remember, you're going to run through a lot of males before you get that big one to bite. But it really a lot of times doesn't matter what you're throwing. It could be a 5 or 6-inch Cinco, and the biggest fish in the darn river, I said this before, was caught on a 6-inch Cinco, and I think it was 18.5 pounds or something. So fish these ledges. As summer goes on, we're going to talk more and more about ledge fishing, because between now, which is the end of July, until September, October, these ledges are going to be prime places. So look for a video that may be ledge fishing or something like that. So I'm going to sign off. I want to thank you guys for watching the video. If you have any questions, make sure you hit me up in the comments and I'll try to answer all those questions. For now, I'm going to get my son Nathan up here. We're going to fish for about 2 hours. It's probably about 7 o'clock. As soon as that sun goes down, we're going to put some top waters on. We'll keep the camera rolling and hopefully we'll get another video out of this tonight. So what do you think we start fishing, Nate?
I'm ready.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. See you at the next video. Good luck.